Debuting about 4 years ago, the Fender American Ultra is the top of the pile when it comes to the guitars coming out of the US Corona factory. Loaded with the best of what the Big F has to offer, the main draw of the Ultra series is that it comes loaded with the best specs and hardware available outside of the custom shop. I'm super excited to be able to show off a couple of exclusive guitar Ultra Strats and check out what we've done to make these so exclusive and to double check and see, do the Fender Ultras still have it in 2023? So these two guitar exclusive Ultra Strats come in two classic Fender colors. In my lap, I have the Sonic Blue Strat, and we have also got a Surfer Green model as well. The green going for that kind of classic 3 single coil setup, whereas the blue one has been set up with an HSS configuration. Both guitars share the same specs with the body, with them both being made out of alder, and then looking at the back, they do come with that super comfy Ultra neck carve, so you have absolutely no bother getting up to the dusty end on these guitars. The neck on the Ultras as well is quite unique, with it being a modern D shape as opposed to the more traditional modern C that is used on a lot of Fender models right now. It's a little bit flatter, but also is a little bit wider than what you would expect with them. It's still super comfy, and anyone who is, familiar with that sort of Fender feel, you're not gonna sort of feel like you've switched to a completely different instrument with this. It's just a bit more of a unique sort of neck shape, and definitely makes the Ultras stand out from the rest too. On the topic of the necks as well, one of the big sort of requests that we had from Fender was to put roasted maple on the both of them. So you'll notice on the back of this guitar here that that's obviously roasted maple. We've opted for a rosewood board on the Sonic Blue, whereas on the Surf Green model that's just behind me there, that's got a roasted maple board and neck as well. Looks great, feels great. What more could you ask for? Some extra little bits as well when it comes to the hardware with these guitars is that they have both got locking tuners on them, which are the Fender branded ones there, which are just the kind of gear ones that you just need to turn to unlock and lock again. And they also come equipped with locking strap locks as well. So you can kind of rest assured, especially if you're playing live, that your tuning and your strap isn't going to go anywhere. So one of the main draws of the Ultras is of course the electronics that are actually built into them. Now I'm going to start just with the Surf Green model to go through all of the electronics and the pickups. But one of the main kind of differences that set these guitars apart from the others in the line is something known as the S1 switch, which I'm just going to get into in just a second. The pickups that are loaded in this model here are the 3 Fender Ultra Vintage noiseless pickups. Now the way that these work is, if you've ever played a Strat or a Tele or any sort of single coil guitar, you know that there is a little bit of hum that happens, especially when you're playing on a distortion channel. It's not anything sort of major unless you're, playing through like a 5150 or something like that. It can be a little bit distracting. Now, what the noiseless pickups actually do, they've got a dummy coil underneath them, which essentially kind of tells like the pickup that it is a humbucker while only using one half of it. So essentially what you're getting is that proper sort of, Fender tone as you would expect, without the hum. So for anybody that's playing live, playing with a band, or, just doesn't like the hum of single coil pickups, these are absolutely essential for you. The S1 switch that I mentioned previously as well directly relates to these pickups. Now they work slightly different on each guitar, so I'll start with this one and then I'll move back to the HSS because that does a couple of different things too. So as with most Strats, this has got a 5-way selector on it, and to go through that very quickly, when you're down at your position there, you're on your bridge. Move to the next position, which we'll call that position 2. That's going to incorporate your middle pickup into there as well. Kind of classic Strat tone. Moving into the middle, you're just on your middle pickup. clicking over, we're the middle and the neck there. This is position 4. And if you've watched any of our videos before where I've had a Strat, that's my personal favourite sound that you may remember. Then moving on to our last position, position 5, that's just the neck pickup there. Now, when you incorporate the S1 switch, which is actually just located in your volume knob there, so you can push that down to activate it, you push it again to deactivate it. Now, it kind of changes a couple of the positions for you. So say, for example, we're on our bridge here. When the switch is up, we're just on our bridge pickup. But when we press that switch down, it actually brings in the neck pickup as well, which is actually a sound that can't be obtained on a traditional Strat because of the configuration. So here is the S1 switch off again. And then here's activating it, bringing in that neck pickup. The next option that will have a drastic change is when you move to position 2. Now, again, that's your bridge and your middle, very kind of classic sort of Strat tone as people are familiar with and are drawn to. But what will happen when you press that S1 switch down is it'll actually bring in the neck pickup for that position as well, giving you quite a mighty sort of 3 pickup sound that, again, not obtainable on any other Strat really. So here it is just again without. And then if I press it down, it incorporates the neck pickup. Obviously, this just gives you even more flexibility for your tones. So say, for example, you do have a bit of a rhythm tone with a bit of dirt on it as well. You can just obtain, you know, quite an unusual sort of Strat sound. So I'll let you hear it just with the S1 switch deactivated and then activated on the drive here. Positions 3 and 4 are actually going to be the same tone as well, because essentially on the single coil model, what you're doing with the S1 switch is bringing in your neck pickup on any of the positions. So your middle position is going to incorporate the middle and the neck when the switch is down, and then position 4 is going to be exactly the same. And then moving up to 5, that's just going to be your standard neck position. So you don't need to learn too many different sort of, you know, technical sort of specs and all that sort of stuff. It just gives you the addition of a couple of quite unique tones. So moving back to the HSS model here, it will incorporate slightly different sort of functionality to the single coil model too, without obviously, you know, including any of the different positions and stuff like that. What the S1 switch on this model does is splits your bridge humbucker there to, again, just give you the kind of best of both worlds of like a fully fledged humbucker and a single coil. The Sonic Blue model comes with the same ultra vintage noiseless pickups in the neck and the middle, but has actually got a double tap humbucker in the bridge as well, which is kind of sort of mid output. You're not, you know, it's not by any means like a full-blown metal sound, but you can definitely get really good lead tones through it as well. So here's the sound just of that bridge humbucker by itself through the clean tone with the S1 switch off. And then activating that will split that to the single coil. Much like the single coil model as well, the other notable position that is going to be altered by the S1 switch is your position 2 when you click to that. Now, by default, when that is off, your second position is going to be the full humbucker and your middle pickup there, which is quite a sort of, again, unique sort of Fender sound that you wouldn't expect through a Strat, but this is what it sounds like. And then when you press that down, you're going to have that kind of classic second position strat that you will have heard on that guitar as well. So we've got most of the tech specs out the way, so I'm just going to kind of play on these guitars and just see the kind of scope of sounds that you can really get from this. Today we're going through a Supro Black Magic reverb combo, and for the drive tones I'm using the brand new Keeley Noble Screamer as well, just for a kind of bit of light overdrive, nothing too crazy. I think it's really important to kind of focus on what sort of player would benefit from one of these Ultra guitars. Now, you know, if you are a Fender fan in any sort of way, or you have played any sort of Fenders, then there's probably no doubt that you will totally fall in love with these guitars and you'll really enjoy playing them because, again, as I said at the start of the video, they are the kind of best of the best that's coming out of the Fender production in Corona, California. But to be a bit more specific about it, I think who's really, really going to benefit from these guitars is probably someone who's playing gigs quite a lot and certainly, you know, is a little bit of a kind of traveling musician in the sense that, you know, you're with a band or you're a session player and, you know, you're maybe traveling around the world, you're maybe traveling around the country that you live in. It is kind of a, you know, live guitar in a sense. Not to say that, you know, it's not going to be an amazing home guitar for anyone or a studio guitar. Certainly with the specs and with some of the specs that we've chosen as well, they will really benefit that player. Now, obviously, with the pickups being noiseless, with them being, you know, really high quality as well, that speaks for itself. You're not going to get any of that unwanted buzz, and they're also just going to sound great when you're playing live as well. But certainly with the inclusion of the roasted maple necks on these, you know, the people who are really going to benefit that are the people who are traveling, because guitar necks are quite susceptible to warping and being damaged while they're, you know, just due to sort of humidity and natural climates. Whereas the process of actually roasting the necks, it removes all the moisture and actually makes the necks a lot more durable, and it won't be susceptible to any of those, you know, sort of humidity changes or temperature changes or anything like that. So if you're taking it, you know, in and out of a bag all the time or in a case or anything, well, you know, these come with cases, so when you're taking it out of its case all the time, it's not going to have that crazy warping that you would expect maybe from just a traditional sort of maple neck if you are going from one extreme to the other. Obviously, if you do prefer the more kind of vintage style of Fender, then there's something like the American Vintage too. But certainly, if you want something a bit more akin to what Fender are sort of looking to the future for, and not to say that this hasn't got vintage sort of features to it, because it's very much a Strat, but I think you owe it to yourself to check out the Ultra models if you haven't already. And hey, why don't you check out these guitar exclusive ones as well to really stand out from the crowd. But what do you think? Have you tried a Fender American Ultra? Let us know down in the comments below, and give us a like and a subscribe while you're down there. But until next time, I've been Keiran, and these are the Guitar American exclusive Fender Ultra guitars, Sonic Blue and Surf Green. Have a great day.